Hello? What do kids' cards, monochromatic colors, tea or coffee, and a grid have in common? We'll find out tonight. Plus, we're going to talk a little bit about purple. You may be shocked. And I've got a little card project too. Stick around for Fun University 126. Let's get it started. Hi, I'm Mary Gunn. Welcome to Fun University. Hello, I'm Mary Gunn. I'm Mary Gunn Fun, founder and head professor of Fun University, and your intrepid hostess of Craft Roulette. This is the teaching portion of Craft Roulette. You don't know what Craft Roulette is, you say? Oh man, I don't have anybody here to ask either, so I guess you're just never going to find out. What's that? You guys want to know what Craft Roulette is in the chatter box? So good to see you. Well, I'll answer it then. It is the ultimate paper crafting card making game show challenge that we do on our sister channel, YouTube channel, every Friday at 6:30 Central Daylight Time. Thank you, Lynn Sanders, for asking what is Craft Roulette. I got a team to back me up. That's what it is. And tonight we do talk a little bit about what we had last week when Danny Bendel joined us at the wheel. We thought maybe the wheel was trying to stump us, but he didn't. He didn't. You guys were really good. You were really good. And so far, I think we have 125 cards that say you guys figured it out. So kiss your brains. It was really good. We have no housekeeping tonight. How about that? I like that. I get so tired of housekeeping. I did clean a little. No, I didn't clean today. I lied. Totally. No, I did sweep the floor and I put away the dishes. Okay, that's all I need to do. But, so tonight we are going to talk about those parameters, a little bit about some of the cards you've sent in. I wish I could show them, but we aren't going to get that done. And then we're going to talk about purple, because purple is a thing on Craft Roulette, isn't it? And we do want to thank our spin sponsor of August. This will be their last giveaway weekend. If you are a patron, you still have time to send in a card to be on the Roundy Round, the cardboard, to win a $25 gift. Nope, $25 savings voucher to the Rabbit Hole Designs. You may be the lucky winner. Sent the goodie bags and whatnot from last week today, so you should be getting those in the mail soon. Let's go down to paper, and I did go to the mailbox. That's something. Yes, Faline, we are always looking. We're so glad that you are with us. You have been with us a long time. So, this is your first fun deal. I'm so glad. Here we go. So this was a card I got. Now this is like fuel to my tank. This card was from Renee White, and look, she sent this in, and then she had time. I'm going to go a little closer here. Then she had time to actually send this off. But she sent a really cute note. So you can see this in the gallery at craftroulette.live. Craftroulette.live, you can see all the gallery. So, and then she writes a really sweet note. She watched this was her first episode of Craft Roulette, and she says she loved it. So yay. This is her interpretation of the parameters. It was great. She sends cards. Her kids are both in college, and she sends them a card every week. I just find that amazing. So exciting. So you probably really do have a lot of card mojo with your caffeine there. But that was really, really nice to hear from you, Renee. And welcome to Craft Roulette. You will be on the achievement board since that was your first one. Then I got a really big surprise. I got this really nice surprise from Ashley Young. And I just keep thinking, well, when is that girl going to be on telling me her big exciting news when Baby Young appears? But nothing yet. It'll be soon. Look at all those goodies, you guys, that she sent. She sent a darling card is that classic Ashley Young? Absolutely classic. And it opens up. It's a gatefold. I need to get a little closer. I'm sitting at the bottom of the screen. GOAT. I think that's something about the original something. I don't remember what it is. But then she wrote a sweet, sweet little note. Greatest of all time. That's it. And that closes up. It's just so, she's just got such a fresh and clean little look. And look at that coloring, would you? Always Ashley is what I would call her website, because she's very solid. So looking forward to putting that one on my door, because it's adorable. I have both of those to put on my door. Off to the right. And then she sent a bunch of goodies for me to add to our goodie bags. Our goodie bags are filled with goodies donated by our viewers and friends. And she had a bunch of brand new stuff. So these are things that you may get. Look at that thing. You may get some of these if you send in a card and then the wheel lands on your name. I think it's a very equitable way for us to do our giveaway. You have to send in a card, but obviously we don't charge you anything to be in the giveaway. But man, oh man, that's a lot of stuff, Ashley Young. Goodness sakes. That will make some happy, happy crafters. Okay, so I gotta tell you something. Just between us. It was really hard to talk about the parameters this week, as far as talking about, okay, this is a great example of the project, the great example of the colors, great example of the element, great example of the random, because you guys are integrating them so beautifully that there wasn't any way to tear them apart. They were such great cards, so well thought out. You were double dipping every time I looked at a card. I was going, well, look how they worked that together. There weren't a lot of single parameter things that I could draw out of many of those cards. And there's 125 that I was looking at and dissecting today. And so I just decided I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say this, you did good on this, you did great on this. So I'm going to do it a little differently this week. The cards, if you've not gone over to the gallery on craftroulette.live, is full of very elegant cards, very funny cards, very simple and great solid cards. You can see all sorts of ideas. The only problem with that gallery anymore is that it's just so full of greatness that it's hard to do anything but just keep looking and looking and looking, and just, there's no way to decide your favorite. Absolutely no way. I just absolutely love them. So the project was kids card. That seemed innocent enough. And some of the things you guys did. However, I did get some ideas from you. You had the goat, that greatest of all times, because goat is a kid, yeah. You had specific cards to specific kids. You had kids sending cards to adults, like teachers and grandmas and things. What was that? And Norma Garrett, I don't know how you got Viking out of kids card, except the Vikings team. She really did it. And it was because she was sending it to a grandson. So there you go. There's that artistic expression, that creative expression that we love so much here at Craft Roulette. And here, there were a couple shaped cards that were outstanding and some wonderful shakers. So, and I think of kids card, I think of like interactives, because they kind of get amused. It's hard to amuse a kid with a card. So I thought that was great. There were some junior crafters too. So there were kids that made cards. Emma and Willow both were back this week. Monochromatic, that you think of kids, right? And you go, oh, they like lots of colors, primary colors, first grade colors. First grade colors had been vetoed, which I think was kind of funny. And then we got monochromatic. I think that was the wheel saying, you shouldn't have vetoed first grade. I'm giving you something to shake up your world. But some of the things that I think I discovered on monochromatic is you did an excellent job of using the neutrals, so much so that some of the it looked like some of the neutrals were picking up different shades of color because you used them so well. We did talk about, and we will talk about this again tonight, about a monochromatic color scheme is not like you can use this blue or you can only use this yellow. You actually can use the entire column of a hue. And so the definition of monochromatic, and I will just read it, is colors that are all the colors of a single hue. Monochromatic color schemes are derived from a single base hue and extend to the shades and tints. And so you've got the whole gamut, and you guys really did a good job of stretching those, making it look very colorful. Didn't you? I didn't find one card boring. None of them. None of the monochromatic with the neutrals were boring. They were fast. I think you guys did. I think Friday night was one of the fastest turnaround times I'd ever seen. When I got off the show, I think there were already 8 or something like that already in. So I think the monochromatic, if you're in a pinch, that may be a tip for you to just go ahead and use some neutrals and a monochromatic color scheme. It's fast. Didn't you think so? I love seeing which colors you used. We are going to talk about purple tonight. I think get ready to throw glitter at me. Just throw glitter if you're going to get mad at me. But anyway, we are going to talk about purple. Oh! And then our element was coffee or tea. Of course, that goes with kids normally, right? Wait, not quite exactly. But it was coffee or tea. The dog just opened the door. I'm going to let him back out and close it. I'll be right back. Kerwin usually goes to the bathroom with me. He loves to go into the cat box room, though his cat box isn't there. But you did really fun things with the coffee and tea, and it didn't hold you back at all. Mugs were scattered everywhere on cards. I thought that was really fun. You scattered all sorts of things in mugs, too. There were a lot of the ways you hold the kids together. See, that's a sample. You pulled the kids' theme together with the coffee. So you would have Alice in Wonderland in teacups, for instance. Mrs. Potts and Chip. There were several Alice in Wonderlands, which really turned out well. And thank you, Cindy B., for giving the nod to Rabbit Hole Design for their discount that they have given us, which will be running out on Sunday for the Craft Roulette viewers. So that was very cool. She used some Alice in Wonderland stamps from them. Beatrix Potter. That was a really pretty one. I happened to go to a thrift store the other day, and I did pick up a couple little nursery rhyme books with some pretty, pretty little pictures. I thought, I could learn to do some illustrations like this, and I still might, but I'm also going to use it for Craft Roulette. I didn't know that so many critters drink tea and coffee. It just surprised me. Are you ready for the list? Bears, dinosaurs, unicorns, pugachinos, hippos, hedgehogs, mice, Western terriers, bunnies, monkeys, lambs, chickens, pandas, and fox is what I have written down. There may have been some other ones too. So there's a lot of critters that are out there drinking coffee. And, I was thinking about Kerwin today and about it would be real bad if he had insomnia. Because he's peaceful when he sleeps, and when he's not sleeping, he's usually just causing trouble. That's what the chipmunk said today that he brought in. So anyway, I'm glad he doesn't have insomnia. Like I said, there were mugs here, mugs there. It was great. There was an upside down mug then it had a unicorn on top of it. I'd never thought of that. That was very clever. Dina Hiltbrand painted with tea, different teas. It's as I understand what she said. She painted with teas. I thought that was really smart. There were several tea-stained coffees, stained papers. One of the cards I did see had used tea bags in the background. So that was pretty cool. There were some great sentiments like best teas and tea time. Really, really fun ideas, you guys. Oh, and then Tanya Bird also made a coffee gift certificate holder. So that's like, make whatever card you want and then just make sure you get that coffee card in there. But it was a good idea. And I thought it was very clever and I loved it. Random was the grid. Grid is just, to me, kind of a easy thing. But once again, you did some pretty clever things. You used clothes with it. You drew some grids on like a coffee pot. Some backgrounds, really great ways to use backgrounds. Plaids, hash marks on a table. I saw checks, plaids, ginghams, mosaics, all sorts of really pretty grids. If you ever feel like you need to have some geometric kind of gritty background, 126 will give you so many ideas. So what I did was I went ahead and did a random number generator and put 1 through 25 in. And these are the cards that I ended up seeing specifically. I can't do anything but say, well done, you did super great. But Rose Duberstein, who has been with us from very, very early on in the show, had a robot. And that was a critter, and it was having a pool party for kids, and the robot was serving iced tea, and she used a grid paper mat. That's not a card that you're going to see on just anywhere. That is definitely, I've started to call them, that's a craft roulette card if I ever saw one right there. It was cute. Makira made a tea party with hash marks on the table, and she had, and it was very orange, and a little girl and a critter. I think it was a unicorn. So, but it said, try your best. Just try your best. So that was very cute. Celicia Snyder had a little kid and a bunny tea party. It looked almost not monochromatic, even though it was all light blues and things. But the browns in it that she used had enough color in them that it looked like she had cheated, but she didn't. It didn't. It was totally right on. Definitely. Now, that was not necessarily a craft roulette looking card. Some of them are. But that just was a good solid card. Susan McCune used tea bags. That's the one. And she also used the photo corners were the tea bag tags. That's a craft roulette card. Or somebody who does junk journals. It was a little dude with a skateboard. Super cute card. I think you'll recognize it right away. Lynn Severson did a pink baby card, and her grid was sections. She had 6 sections, and she had different baby images, but she also had mommy kind of images. It's really cute, really a great card to copy, because it was talking about being a new mom and coffee and different things like that. So it was a really cute card, very clever the way you put it together. But I dare say it was a craft roulette card. Special note, Mary Jackson is fairly new to craft roulette, and she's in Nebraska, and she sent that taco card that I showed last week. But she wrote a poem because she doesn't have a lot. I don't think she has stamps. So she wrote a poem and drew a little picture, and it just slayed me. She said, I love coffee, I love tea, I feel like a kid again on my new knees. And it's for somebody getting who got a knee replacement. Brilliant. Just really, really special. Very, very fun. Those were some of the things, and I could talk about each one of them, but we'd be here until tomorrow, so that's not going to happen. Let's talk about purple. Well done, everybody. Kiss your brains, and thank you so much for playing. Patrons, you still have till Thursday night at midnight to get in your cards, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, purple. What is purple? Why? Danny mentioned purple is hard to deal with, and it is. It is hard, and so I did a little studying, and I hate to tell you this, you guys, you Team Purple, but purple is kind of an oddball. We talk about purple all the time here on Craft Roulette and Fun University. But do you see purple on this chart? Oh, no, it's not there. These are the Roy G. Biv, I believe. We've got Roy G. Biv here. don't we? Red, orange, and even some more. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. But purple isn't here. It's not even here as a secondary color. If you do, you have violet, and you have blue violet, and you have red violet, but there's no purple. So some of the things that happen with purple and why it's hard is, well, one thing, we call it purple, but it doesn't exist on the Roy G. Biv scale, and it doesn't, and I can't even begin to talk about it scientifically, but if you break white light into its components and wavelengths, you get these basic colors, the Roy G. Biv, and purple just isn't there. Now, I can't even explain to you why we see purple. I can't. It's just something different. So purple really is considered a color, but it's not considered violet. It's different. It's not a synonym, Mary Youngblood. It's used interchangeably, but they generally say purple is not violet if you go look deep into it. I know, it's crazy, but it is. But here's another thing about purple that makes it a little bit difficult. Purple is a secondary color. Now, if you're talking about making a purple or violet out of pure blue and pure red, you'll get that pure violet color. But if you mix a red orange with a blue, you're going to get a different undertone because you're going to get in another primary of yellow. So it gets really complicated. I don't know why, but it seems to be the violets that are a little harder than the greens. To me, the greens are easy to see who's the trouble causer, who's their background color, their undertones. You can see it pretty easily. Even if you did, you're not going to get a red. You're not going to most likely be using a violet and a yellow to make a green. I mean, it's just too far away. But the greens are not hard to match. They're not hard to figure out. The oranges are pretty easy. They're just yellow and red. But sometimes it's hard to get the undertones of the violets right. And it's based because look how close these two are. And they're just like right here. And so if you just weasel over here just a little bit or over here just a little bit and you get a little green in there, you're going to get a different color of violet and you're going to have a little harder time knowing what the undertones are. So if you look at this guy, he's real easy to see what his undertones are. And it's his first name, Blue. And violet doesn't have a first name, it's just violet. And then the red violet, you know which undertones that has because it's got its first name of red. But if you start messing around with dabbling just a little bit, remember there are colors between these columns and there's colors within each column too that we cannot see on a color chart because they're infinite. And you add one more drop of red and then you've got a whole nother color. I suppose they're infinite. I suppose. I've never seen that for sure. But anyway, to me, that's kind of one of the reasons that purple is hard. It's hard to figure out, and I'll show you this one right here. Just this right off. Can we see this better? Here we go. This purple in this paper is not really red violet. It has more blue in it. It's not just violet, it has more red in it. And it's definitely not blue violet. It has more red in it. So purple is hard. You can still be Team Purple, you bet your booties. Whereas I don't think that's absolutely the case with the other colors as much. You can try it out, pull out some paper samples on your color wheel and just see. Oh, wrong way. See if they're easier for you to do. Inks also are a little bit tricky on purples. I'll just pull out a few. This is purpley. I would call it a red-violet shade. And that's how I generally talk about colors because it's just too hard to know names. And then this is, I consider that a red violet, but it's kind of pinky, but it's a little more blue. And I think this is what Danny was talking about. It's just really tricky to get this in the right space. And wisteria, it's bluer than violet. This is bluer than violet, but it's more violet than blue. So it's... Yeah, purple is hard. Danny is absolutely correct. Purple is hard. So sometimes when there's a good one. That's more red violet. You can see that it's not violet. It definitely has some red in it. It's definitely not blue violet. Sometimes when you're trying to match a purpley color, you have to keep doing layers too, to get it to be the right color. At least I found such. I was making a color today. I did a color for the leaves today, and I was making it with this. Going to be using this paper in just a second. But so I used Seedless Preserve from Ranger, and I thought, well, that will look okay. But this one is actually it's more red violet. Right? It's more red violet right about there. And so I ended up doing this, but then I had to add some blue to it on top. So that there's a little thought right there. Sometimes you have to add another color. Let's do a little color blending, then we'll make a couple cards. Here's a scrap piece of paper. Okay, so I was going to do autumn colors. So I started with some orange, that easy orange, you know, always not too hard to know if it's one way or the other. Sometimes I think too, and this is not a fact per se, but sometimes if you're wondering if you want to see what some of the background tones are on an ink like this, you can do that, and you can see the yellow in there, can't you? Yeah. So, just going to do a little bit of here and there. Now, purple, if you blend on top of orange, is probably not going to be pretty. It might be pretty, but it might... In theory, it probably shouldn't be pretty. So we'll just add some orange. And then we'll stick as much red next door to that as we can. So when we bring in our purple will be interacting right next door to the red instead of the orange more. Maybe not precisely in 100%, because it's just maybe not going to happen that way, but because you can put this red over that orange recklessly, and it'll be pretty. All right, now here comes Mr. P. Because really, you thought, if you look at this, you think, oh, that's going to be fine. Then you look at this and you go, oh, I'm not thinking that's quite so fine. But we'll see what we can make of it. So I ended up putting it. It's a pretty color. And I can just end up with red violet if I go over the red. And actually it looks like it's not really a horrid color. It's just not quite as brightish and defined as a purple or a red. Okay, so say this is the only purple I have. This is the only purple paper I have. What am I going to do? You need to add another tone to it. So I am going to bring in a blue. This is where you have to kind of look at a color and go, okay, what are your undertones? What's missing? What's in this one that's not in that one? Let's see if we can, now he's not, well, he's better. He's better like that than that, right? So let's add a little more blue. I may have added just a little too much. But if we're going to cut it up into smaller shapes too, it shouldn't be too alarming. Doesn't this look like fall? Here we go. That's better. It's not the same, but it's better. And purple's hard. Purple is just hard. Here we go. So, and then I cut in some shapes. I added a little water, got some splots, and then put in some shapes. So, all right. So one of my favorite, I was looking through some old cards, and I found this little guy, and I thought, he's so cute. He's got a real fun little interactive thing, a little surprise, and you open it up, and it has a hidden message there. It says, thanks a lot. And it is on top, and inside, it just has a little square there. But I think I'm going to be bold. I think I'm going to be bold and just use what I have. And that is an A2 size card with a hole cut in it. All right, now I have not done this one in a couple years, so I hope I can get this right. I have two sizes of pens. One's an 02 and then this one is an 08. So I am just going to make this squiggly wiggly squiggly iggly, it helps if you sing, a squiggly iggly line inside the circle. And I'll do a couple. Go in a little bit, out a little bit, and that's the little one. Now we'll do the bigger one, but not quite as many. And there we go. There's my wreath. That's kind of a cool wreath, isn't it? You could do some inking on there too. And then we'll add some leaves, some pretty little leaves. And when I was working with this before, I discovered that not these little guys are all inside. Just one in a row, right in a row. And then I thought that this worked better if we had some leaves on the inside, one on the outside, like so. Something like that. So when you open it, you still have pretty leaves. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Attempt today without a tightrope. So just like yo. And then these guys can go inside. But I gotta make sure I have it where I want it. And you do have to check both. Get out of there. You do have to check when it's open and closed. So there's the closed, open, close, close, open, open, close. And then this guy will go right up there. I like to see him, but I don't want him not having the right place on the wreath. There you go. He's going to be pretty just like that. Then we'll do a little thinking of you. Here's another thing with purple. is the neutrals. Some neutrals are more yellow than other neutrals. Some neutrals are more blue. So brown with purple is sometimes a little hard for me. Maybe not for you, but sometimes it's a little hard for me to get a brown with a purple to look right. But gray seems to be okay, but not all grays are the same either. So I don't want to blow your minds, right? This one has a little yellow undertone in it, so I don't think it looks quite as... It looks okay. This one has more of a blue undertone, as does this purple. Now, I don't know if you have... Anyway, these are just my thoughts. And there's a light gray, and here's a lighter gray. So this is what I think we're going to use, is this guy. Oh, he's got snowflakes on the back. Well, that's silly. We'll have to have a backing. And then I just wrote, stamped, thinking, because I was going to make 3 cards. Oh, there's some trash. So there's my thinking. I thought I might use that, but now that I know that it's got snowflakes on the back. And we can add some more pretties up here too. We don't have to leave it that bare. Okie doke. Cut like that. And just flip that around and have that on the bottom then. And I've got my of you for the secret message. And that's going to go there. Shoop. All right. Now this is where you have to hold your tongue just right. So that's going to go there. That's not going to have much to hold on to. So we want to get it over as far as we can to this side so it has a little more substance. Wonder what I did with that little glue. There it is. Try not to make it any wider than the thing. That's good glue. It'll hold. There we go. There's the thinking. Then we have to get this the same size, length, or shorter. He's a little longer still, so. Bit of a peekaboo there. Get them all lined up. Oh, stop. You're not quite lined up. Oh. Thinking of you. That's kind of a fun little trick, isn't it? He needs some more little doolollies, but he could probably use some string or something along here and some little diamonds or something. That makes it kind of pretty with the fall colors. Kind of pretty, and you could add some more down here too, depending on what you have laying around. So I probably have a few left over. I can put some more inside. So there you go. All right. Then second, this was all out of one piece of 6x6 paper. It is 6x6 paper that didn't really have too much of a pattern. The first cut that I did was 3/4, right? Right? Is that right? Let me make sure. Yep. First cut that I did was 3/4 of an inch. There's a half, there's 3/4. So that one was 1. And then I twisted it. And now we've got 5 1/4 here. So this one was at 4. And that leaves this one at 2 to go right there, 2 by 5 1/4. And then that was the full size one. So you can make these 3 cards out of one 6x6 card. This is a simple Z-fold. This is the circle out of here. So I thought we could do the same treatment on this circle as we did over here. I don't know. I think it's going to be a little harder not to have that outside rim But let's give it a try. Little Pinky is engaged on the table sometimes. Whoops, there he goes. Don't watch me drive. It doesn't make me nervous. No, no, no. Not at all. Go down. Oh, you're going to take that corner too fast. There we go. So, there you go. There's that pretty little circle right there. Could probably put some of this gray under here too. How about a little scrap of gray? That's kind of pretty. You can't see it. And then we'll do another little cluster of leaves. Such and such. Not sure how, but we'll figure it out. Take half of this paper. You know, a Z-fold. You're pretty comfortable with that. Wonder if that paper I just cut would work. Might be kind of pretty there. Except it's a yellow undertone. Am I going to worry? No, I just am aware. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to be aware. You know, this is one of those. I was thinking I should have an overthink warning. And here is where I overthought this. And here is where I overthought that. Because seriously, it gets ridiculous. the things we overthink. There's of you. There's another thinking. Overthinking of you. Does anybody have that card? Overthinking of you. And that's another thing about purple, Brenda. It's the purple, and that was something I was going to talk about with autumn. Thank you for reminding me and pulling me back to my thoughts. When you think of purple and autumn cards, you think of oftentimes Halloween, but maybe not flowers or leaves. But you can also think of these colors in terms of this is like a whole gallon of color. This is more like, and I've heard somebody else say this, and I think it's a brilliant analogy. This is more of a quart of color, and then you can come in with a smaller piece that is just like a pint of color. And so we talk about that on Craft Roulette a lot, about when you get a color parameter that you don't have to use it full gallon, you don't have to use it pint or quart. You can use it however you want. So that's just another way to think of it. And I've always thought that was an analogy that made me go, oh, I get it. I guess I've been in the grocery store more than many other places. So thinking, should we do thinking there? Sure. So I think that you're right. Oftentimes you don't see purple as the main color or the gallon color, the saturation of it on or that intensity on a fall color, but I think it's pretty. I almost pinched myself and I would have yelled. Ding, 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 overthinking. It would have to be a Star Trek kind of sound. Everyone, Captain to the bridge, Captain to the bridge. Overthinking going on. Okay, let's just not overthink and just stick this leaf down. The leaves don't overthink when they're falling from the tree. They just fall down and land where they land. And so shall you. Needs something right there too, doesn't it? Getting close to overthinking again. Dang it. Maybe just one. Maybe something on top of that. I like that little sprig. Maybe I'll have to cut some more. You know, some thread would look pretty on something like this too. A little messy bun cluster of thread. I think so. Kind of right there. Okay, we'll just stick those on and say That's your job for the night, guy. Just live there and look pretty. Don't let people question why you're there. Just sit there and look pretty. And I'm wondering if here's an overthinking. Maybe that little tab needs to, maybe it needs to go over here a little farther so it doesn't look like it's made a mistake on that circle. There we go. And then this guy opens up. Thinking of you. Can't read it that way. Can't do it that way. It needs to be hidden from the front, don't you think? Yeah. Okay, let's put it on the same plane. So it's basically on the same level as the front. Thinking of you. And that could have some little leaves in there too. So, gallon, quart, pint. I don't have a Fitbit. I don't want some. I don't like the idea of having everything counted. Because I could overthink it all, and I could start getting kind of cranky and crazy. So this one, I thought this was just a leftover from the cutout, and I thought it should make a pretty little 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut the bottom off of that roughly into a 4 1/4. And then we've got this little piece too, and that was the leftover. That was the first cut of the 6x6. So we'll stick them on here. I would use more adhesive. And I think I'll put it on a diagonal. That would look good. And same basic design. Oh, these leaves that one might be a little big for you. Pretty purple, pretty purple. There we go. All right, well that is basically it. Purple's not a color. That's always exciting to talk about. Ah! Did you guys throw me any glitter? And then you guys did great on the cards. I cannot stress that enough, how beautifully you're making how beautiful the gallery is because of your very, very good craftsmanship. It is just a thrill to have you all be a part of the silly Mr. Wheel. And seriously, okay, here's the overthinking with Mr. Wheel. He throws us this kind of thing on a Friday night. And I seriously was like thinking, I made a mistake with these parameters. How did I do this to myself? Where did I go wrong to do this game like this? And these are the things that were overthinking in my brain at the time. And how in the world, because of that 331, 776 possible opportunities, you absolutely cannot think how it's all going to turn out. So those were all the fast thinkings, my fast overthinkings going on. But he knew once again that we could do it. But I don't think you guys give me a little hope with all your interpretations too, because you're thinking about that was not an easy combination, and it didn't daunt you. Were undaunted by it, and I just find that so exhilarating as a crafter to see you guys express yourself so beautifully and so cleverly. So keep it up, and I won't tell anybody else that purple's not a color. And I'll add some more things, but that's it for the night. That's all I'm going to do. Let's take a look at them. Just a couple little ideas. Once again, you can, about the blending, about the different amounts of purple. This one ended up with more purple than this one, so I should probably switch it, especially in proportion to the shape, the size of the card. This definitely has a lot more purple than this one. But if you do have a color that you're not sure that you want it to, like I knew somebody, I was a neighbor of somebody, and he said, I like carrots, but I want to sit down and have a salad that's just full of carrots. So if you have some colors or some a parameter that you don't want to sit down and just have the whole thing junked up with that color or that thing, just remember to adjust the proportions, and so that until you're happy with it. Here's another card that I did from way back with some purple. That's a purple fall color card, and here's another one with some blended colors in the background, stamped on the top in the foreground, and then recolored. So there's some really fun things you can do with the non-color purple with violets. So we're still gonna have Team Purple. Yeah. Hey, Travis. So, okay, let's get out of here for the night. Let's give our patrons a huge thank you. We do have a couple new ones that we will be announcing here on Friday. It's always fun. There's still plenty of room. We will be having Club Fun's Play Day on Saturday. We used to call it Scrapbook Game. Not everybody wants to play Scrapbook Game. I love Scrapbook Game. I am getting it works for me. And I have seen other people have it work for them too. And that also excites me. But I don't get excited about a lot of things, but crafting, seeing you guys succeed does great things for my spirit. Anyway, thank you guys for being our backers. I did give them some inside information, and they're excited about our spin sponsors for September. Yes, I am too. And it's going to be a wonderful month of giveaways. So make sure that you have it on your calendar to join us every Friday night at 6:30 Central Time for Craft Roulette on our sister YouTube channel. Look at you guys. Oh, Stephen had to become a patron so he could work on it. So that's what that's about. Anything else, you guys? I'll read your messages before Plum is really pretty, Brenda. I'll read your messages before I go to sign out of the studio tonight. Oh, I know. Oh, I have a really good video over in the Craft Roulette Facebook group about purple. Without looking, are there any flags, any country flags with purple on them? It is so interesting. So interesting. I've got a great video for you over there. I'll put it up as soon as I get done here. And I think that's it. Join us Friday night when Lydia Fiedler is there. And, she's a hoot and a holler. It will be episode 127. I think that's it. I'm kissing my brain. It's all good. I see you, Jamie Watts, kissing my brain too. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining me tonight. See you Friday. All right. Stay safe. Love y'all. Bye-bye.